Meet Davis.
Hi.
Davis is from Pollock, South Dakota.
Yep.
We took Davis from Pollock to fish for pollock in Alaska.
Sure did.
The same wild-caught pollock in a McDonald's Filet-O-Fish sandwich.
Uh-huh.
There were boats, nets, waves.
And fish.
And some delicious Filet-O-Fish sandwiches. So you could say Davis is one lucky guy.
Good one.
Thanks, Davis.
Catch some pollock of your own with McDonald's Filet-O-Fish Fridays. Just $1.99 for a limited time. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or any combo meal.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, folks. How are you doing? It's Danny Tisdale, and you are on the Danny Tisdale Show. And, of course, I'm going to say it, and, of course, it's true. We're going to have a great guest today bringing throwback history to Harlem and to New York City and to the world. So this should be a great conversation, and she is a visual artist also, even better. But before we get started, as I usually do, I just want to make sure that you're connected and know how to connect with us. And contact us on our website at harlemworldmag.com. Also, check us out at Twitter at twitter.com/HWMag, and also on Facebook. And I want to give a shout out to a friend of mine, Mike Rasdell at 38.com in Florida. His family's well. I reached out and sent them an email just to make sure that they are okay, and they are, and all to the others who are out there and the craziness of the weather with the hurricanes and the fires on the West Coast. Well, we have a great guest today, and it's Susan Spannan, and I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. After this intro, I'm sure she'll put me on the right track. She's a visual artist turned business owner of See.Gold, 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 Gold. And it's an all-female Harlem-based team of gilders, that old art form, specializing in hand painting, gilded glass signage, and house numbers. And they've been doing it since 1994. And, it's fantastic. She's on the show with me today, and she's had clients and has clients like Tiffany's, Balthazar of Soho, in New York City, London, you know the story, all over the world, doing incredible work. And Sandra, it's great to have you on the podcast. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me? Is that okay?
Yes, okay. And how are you doing?
I'm good. So you pronounce it almost correctly, but it's Sandra Spannan from See.Gold. How are you?
Sandra. Yes,
Sandra.
I'm doing good. Yeah,
you're doing good. Yeah.
It's a great day, great weather. So I always give a thumbs up to that. But I know it's going to fly by, so I want to talk to you about what you're doing and more importantly your art. So are you still an artist? Because I know you were a visual artist at one time, and then you started See.Gold, or no?
Well, it's always a question of do you consider yourself an artist or decorative painter or craftsman? I think it's kind of like a question of what do you define. How do you describe this work that we do? I would say that I'm an artist, but I definitely don't have enough time for my own art anymore. But also considering that, it's a very blurry line between what is my own art and what is the art that I'm actually doing for clients and for my customers.
Uh-huh.
So I'm trying to make that line more and more blurry so that I'm doing more and more of things and only taking jobs on that I actually really like and that I'm totally standing behind in my taste and quality. So there were times that, quality always was there, but there were times when I definitely would paint something that wasn't necessarily my taste. Let's say it that way.
Right. So I do want to stay, on your history for a second, because I'm curious about the visual. I'm still curious on the visual art side of it, even though you are, of course, an artisan with the work that you are doing now. And believe me, we're going to get there. But I'm curious about what led up to, the work that you're doing now. So were you a painter? Were you a sculptor? Or what kind of work did you do?
I've always been a painter. And so when I came to New York, I first was, like every other artist that comes to New York thinking I'm going to have a gallery and shows and selling my art and going to be really successful.
Sandra, I hear an accent, so you came from where?
From Germany.
Okay.
I came from Germany in 92, 93.
What part of Germany?
Berlin and also near Düsseldorf, so the north of Germany.
Great. Okay. Sorry about that.
But no, that's okay. And so it was that dream, of course, that everybody has. And then I did have shows, different times, different places, but it was never. I never got to that point where I really pushed to the gallery front and really making a living that way. And so I started taking on projects for designers and architects and clients of mine that some of them were actually collecting my art. And so then it just kind of grew and grew, and I would take classes. And I also started, when I came to the States, I also had been a gilder already. So those were the two things that were my specialty, gold leafing and painting.
So were you working with museums also, or just independently in your studio?
Well, you mean when I first came here? It was more independently.
Yeah, and you were doing your gilding. Okay.
We actually did plaster finishes for museums.
Okay.
But,
I can imagine.
Yeah, no, we did the Whitney Museum. We did some plaster finishes, and also at the Museum of American Indian downtown.
Okay.
We did many murals for the exhibitions for the different tribes, and painted the maps. And so I never had my own art in a museum, but I would paint to help display other people's art. I guess that's how you would put it. But yeah, so I think it was step by step, just like any other business that kind of works, that kind of grows slowly. That was more my approach to my business. It was never like the startup company that got a big funding and then went for it and had a business plan. It was more one thing led to the other. Yeah, more old school.
Yeah. So now, were you already in Harlem at that time, or you weren't in Harlem yet?
No, I actually ended up being one of the old school Williamsburgers because I got there. I know other arguments with me now. They would, I got there in '92, and so we had these huge loft spaces and big studio spaces, and I was in Williamsburg for a long, long time. And I know that what your next question is probably going to be, why did you leave Williamsburg and come to Harlem? I have many reasons.
You don't even need me.
Well, it's just because I remember when I would tell people,
no, I'm just kidding.
Because I was in Williamsburg for more than 10 years, and just when it became super hip and unaffordable and out of control, I moved, and everybody would be like, why are you moving, and where did you move to? And I would say Harlem, but the way I said it, everybody with my accent thought I would say Holland, and people would overreact so much, and then I would realize, I moved to Holland. And it was just a funny coincidences sometimes because I would defend Harlem back then. This was 15 years ago when I first moved here, and I would say it's awesome. I love Harlem because, especially coming from Williamsburg and getting there when there were no coffee shops and no restaurants, and I felt it was a little similar like that. And so I had a similar feeling in Harlem where I felt it wasn't so overdeveloped, like other neighborhoods are.
Right.
And I also, one of the big reasons is I have two daughters, and they're both mixed, and I felt that Harlem, I'm white from Germany, and I felt that it was a very Caucasian neighborhood, Williamsburg, at that point, and I felt like I didn't come from Germany to be in New York, to be in a neighborhood where everybody's white and one race and one age almost, and so I felt that was one thing that really attracted me to Harlem, the diversity, and also a lot of children, a lot of families, and great love for children, and playgrounds and parks, and the architecture too. So
well, I just want to say, Sandra, I hope people are listening to the way that you explain Harlem and talk about this glorious, beautiful, wonderful place. And not always, everything you read in the headlines is, defines Harlem. So thank you.
Oh, definitely. That's why I was bringing up the joke that everybody thought I moved to Holland. And with their reactions, I would react and be like, no, let me tell you why Holland is so awesome.
Oh, they're going to kill you. They're going to drag you on the streets. Come on.
Exactly. But it's also, I feel like I always felt like it's the people that moved here were also a little bit more open-minded, than other people that might just move to a neighborhood where everybody's alike, And so,
I mean, I might be a little biased, but I think that's true, Sandra. I might be a little biased, but I think for the most part, that's true.
Yeah. Well, everything is, exactly. So that was a big reason. And then when it comes to my business, I still had my business in Williamsburg because I had a great studio at McCarran Park in Greenpoint, and lived here. And so I would actually travel from Harlem to Greenpoint every day. And that was terrible. And so then I decided to move it. Yeah, but that's one thing that's a little tricky in Harlem. There's not a lot of commercial spaces. It's not like the South Bronx or, Bushwick where you have lots of warehouses.
There's a lot of space, right, warehouses.
Yeah, so I missed a little bit having like a carpenter as a neighbor or a steel worker that can cut me some pieces, But so that was, and that's another reason why I brought my business here, so I could be closer to home. But I also love the fact that I never really planned it that way, but then it happened more and more slowly that I became more known as a Harlem business, also making my gold leaf signages here for a lot of restaurants and bars and coffee shops that started throughout the last 12, 15 years. And that kind of grew a lot, over the last years. And also brownstones that would get restored and would go back to the original way of having a house number gilded on the transom. And so I definitely done a lot of brownstone gilded house numbers and restaurant store owners signages up here, which is nice because it is a beautiful architectural, rich, traditional neighborhood, so it's nice to kind of see it getting...
Well, that's what struck me, Sandra, when I first got, I don't know if it was the email or what it is you guys sent me, but, looking at the photographs and just, of course, knowing Harlem's history and, your craft, supports that craft in itself, and that's what's fantastic about the work that you do. It retains the quality that, Harlem has had and, now, with your work will continue to have,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's been really, I mean, it's such a gift doing restoration or preservation, because you see something that's, I mean, sometimes it can be beautiful when something decays, and gets a beautiful patina, but usually in New York, especially, things just get ripped off and, taken down, and then a big new glass building appears. And so it's nice to be part of, an architectural element that gets, cleaned up and stripped and refinished, and then going back to classical, traditional ways of finishing something or painting something, and then doing the glass gilding, definitely part of that.
And that's the technique that you use. You're really using traditional techniques in the gilding that you do.
Yeah, everything is. I mean, we do use some stencils for some of the application process, but it always depends. Sometimes if somebody is really interested in doing it, having everything done by hand, we do that as well. But usually people are already freaked out when they know that we're going to be on a ladder for a whole day installing a little house number, because people are so used to just ordering something, put it on, goodbye. So everything is painted by hand, and it's so it's 2 layers of gold leaf and hand painting, and so it usually, in drying times, it takes pretty much a full day of installation of a house number, for example, or a gold leaf sign for business. And it's a beautiful thing because everything else always.
That only takes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was just shocked that it only takes a day.
Well, it depends on the size. Like we've done signs that take many days, but like for a house number that's maybe 4 or 5 inches tall on a transom, like that you sometimes see when you walk around in Harlem, on the brownstones, it takes around 1 day. Yeah.
Wow, I thought it was much longer. I guess I don't understand the process.
Oh, I wish you could talk to some of my clients. They think we come in and they give us half an hour, and then They're like, I got to lock up. We just leave. And we're like, we just started setting up.
It's like,
so,
this is not McDonald's. Come on.
Exactly. But, people are so used to that. So it's,
right.
People used to having things speedy or ordering them on the internet and getting it shipped to them. So the fact that we have to go to somebody's house and apply it by hand and be there all day is kind of new for some people. So it's I could imagine. But Sandra, I just wanted to do a quick station ID and let people know. I can't believe that we're already at the halfway point. It's ridiculous. Oh my
God! We just started talking. But we want to let our listeners know they're listening to Harlem World Radio, and this is, of course, Danny Tisdale, and you are listening to the Danny Tisdale Show, and we are back with Sandra and talking about her wonderful business, See.Gold, and talking about her being a visual artist, talking about the beautiful, beautiful work. We'll be posting this story, listeners, about See.Gold and the audio podcast that we're doing now, so you can listen a little later and meet the visual with the verbal here in an hour or so when we post it. So, Sandra, you still there?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. So, now how did you go about getting the word out about your work? Was it your website, or was it word of mouth, or, for some of those business owners out there who are saying to themselves, wow, she's a visual artist, and, her business grew to having Tiffany as a client. So any secret sauce to the great work that you're doing, Sandra?
As I said before, the way I've been running my business is definitely more step by step, growing slowly, word by word, and word of mouth. Okay. That's how you say it. And instead of pushing too much in terms of press, and we're just starting now to really kind of get more press and more attention that way. But I believe in people recommending people, and like, I work with this person, or this business is really amazing, and so then it's kind of like the safest recommendation you can get, if you already have a foot in the door that way. But I definitely think that if you have a good quality product that just keeps growing, that's awesome. Right now, what I would say, if somebody's interested in looking at our work, my most current work and most fun place to look at my work is our Instagram page. We also have
wait before you go there, because I have that question coming up for you. But before you go there, I wanted to ask you, and it's probably, I'm going to say it before I'm not going to even ask you that it's not fair, because it may be, people always use that example, you can't choose between your children. But is there some work, Sandra, that you like working on, more than others? I mean, maybe it's not so much the beautiful gilding of numbers on a door, or not a door so much, but a window. But is there some work that you like more than others?
I think that's why I like my business, is because if I would only do gold-leafed house numbers, and that's it, I would probably get bored after a while. But I love that there's different days that are, every day is very different here. Like we have different locations. Like I was just in Melbourne, Australia. Then we did 6 stores for Le Labo, that's the French perfume company. We're doing all their stores worldwide right now, so we get to travel a lot. But then we also
she's a jet setter. I didn't know it didn't say that on your bio that you were an international jet setter, Sandra.
Well, I wish I could fly to all the stores. A lot of my artists fly more than me at this point. That's for sure. I'm always here in Harlem at the computer.
You're minding the store, right?
Exactly. But I would say, in terms of the work, the work itself, we did the preservation and restoration of the Williamsburg Savings Bank. It's this huge dome when you get off the Williamsburg Bridge. Some people might be familiar with that, and that was like a 2-year renovation, and I love when I walk in there and seeing my work up there. That's a really satisfying feeling. And also when friends come from Europe and I can drive them around and show them all the different stores that we've done in different neighborhoods. But I love gilding. Gilding never working with gold leaf,
so
the
Sandra,
really
when
fine
people
sheets of
visit,
building,
when
that's like
people
still always
visit, it's
satisfying.
probably more like you telling them the pieces that you haven't done because you've done so much work, I imagine.
I mean, it's
like
funny.
that,
Like my
that's the
kids,
only
when
one
I
we
walk
haven't
around with
done.
with my kids are always like, "Oh God, stop it," because I'm like, "Oh, did you see that store over there? Like Harlem Realty."
Oh yeah, they
I
don't
took
want to
it
hear
done
that.
in,
Yeah. Right.
in Palladium leaf. They just roll their eyes. Well, they're actually pretty trained
they-
now. They can see from across the street if a sign is fake gold or not, or if it's a vinyl sign. They're like, "Mommy, they use
Right.
vinyl
They've got the
sign.
eye.
That's disgusting." Yeah, they were well trained.
Sandra, we also have, and I know they're giving me the signal here to pay attention to the clock, and we have 10 minutes left. And I've got 10,000 more questions, but I'll try to be precise and cut them and edit as we go. I'm thinking of our business listeners who are listening, and they kind of thinking like anyone else who wants to be successful. You have any tips for them? I know that's not on the sheet that I sent you with all the questions, but that's how I do it. You have any tips for those business listeners out there who, or this is even better. What tips would you have for young ladies who want to follow in your footsteps? Young girls, because we have a lot of parents who listen out there. It's for the business owners out there and those moms and dads and their little, daughter or son are listening to you and want to, follow in your footsteps. What advice would you give them?
Well, it depends. If you're saying that I'm talking to the parents now, that's a different story than talking to the young ladies. I would say to the parents, let your child study art. Let your child take art in classes, after school classes. I think people always think, art is a dying thing and you can't make money with it. And obviously, I'm not making as much money as maybe a doctor would make or a fancy lawyer, but I definitely love what I do. I love working with my hands, and I think you should just really let your daughters or your sons pick what they're really good at and what they are passionate about. Because if you're really passionate about something, you want to do it every day. And if you're doing something every day and work hard 10, 15 hours, whatever it takes to get it done and to get it done well, then you'll also succeed. I really believe in that.
Great advice.
That's my advice for the parents. Now my advice for the girls would be to, again, work hard and get off your phone. That will be one thing. I'm really worried about the next generation. Because you're not going to get anything done if you just look at people's Instagram. You're not going to even develop your own interest if you look at people's Instagram. If you, you know what I mean? I feel like that's one thing that is really important to get off that phone and to really think about what do I want to do with my life. It's not endless.
Put the phone down and think.
Yeah, and think, or really, go to museums, go to art shows. Really think about what is it that I'm interested in. It doesn't have to be art. I'm just saying this is from my own perspective now, but I feel like people, especially young girls now, I'm talking about girls now because we have female business, but I think they are very influenced by just seeing pretty pictures of other people, and the pictures are not always pretty, first of all, but also it's you have to really focus on yourself and what you're doing with your time, and the time isn't every single day. Every hours that you spend not doing what you really love doing and kind of wasting it in visual dream worlds, it's not reality. That's not how you're going to make a business or career or a living.
Yeah,
so unless you start working for Instagram, that's a different story. I'm just using Instagram as a sample, but you know what I mean.
As an example, right.
Yeah.
Not to point them out in any way, but that's just an example, and I hear you completely. And we have a few minutes left, Sandra, and it's really, really great talking to you. And I'm sure our listeners will respond to your conversation about, the arts, the youth, and all of that great stuff. But, there's our listeners out there also who want to stay in contact with you and follow your business. Can you give them your URL or your email, or, if they want to, have some of your talent come to their, brownstone or home, your contact number for the business so folks can stay in contact with you and get some of your business services?
Yes. So our Instagram is see.gold. So that's See.Gold. And our website is also as in Sam, ee-gold.com. And our office number is the 212-401-4828. Now, the 212 number, we're going to switch from a 646 number in 3 days. So in 3 days, I can be reached at 212-401-4828. Otherwise, there's an email on the website that can be found.
Right.
And we're also always happy to have studio visitors, and we're also giving workshops.
Oh, great.
The next workshop, if somebody's interested in learning how to do glass gilding, the next workshop will be...
Oh, that's fantastic. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we're doing it through the Society of Gilders. It's an international society, and we offer it now to use our Harlem workshop to give a 3-day glass gilding workshop in November, beginning of November.
Wow.
But if somebody's interested, they can just shoot me an email or call us after the 15th when the phone number is better, and then we can give them information for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to post, as I was saying earlier, this podcast in an hour or so. So we'll make sure to, maybe have both, just at least something that the area codes will change from 212 to 646. So.
No. It's now 212-401-4828. And I'm sorry, it's going to be, I'll give you the information on the email, but
Okay, good.
That'll be great,
That's good. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right.
And Sandra, you know that I wanted to ask you, too, as we ask all our guests, what's your favorite place in Harlem? Do you have a favorite place?
I do. But the one favorite place in terms of going out is Maison Harlem. That's like my go-to place. My old studio was just up the road at the old brewery, the Mink building. So, that's where my studio used to be. And now it's on 116th
Old
Street.
stomping ground.
Exactly. I was there for 7.5 years. But I love Maison Harlem. That's definitely my go-to place. If it's for dinner with my kids or late at night for a last wine before I go home, I love going there. And the other place that I also love, that's very historical, is the Trinity Church Cemetery. That's where I live. I live in Sugar Hill, and I love that old cemetery. It really, I don't know if anybody has ever been there, but it's a beautiful place to just visit and look at the history. There's so many graves in French, written in French and German and Dutch, and
incredible history.
It shows a lot of the history from Harlem as well. So those are the two places. I'm sorry, I gave you two now. I cheated.
No, that's okay. That works. We'll take two. But did I hear that you still have a studio?
Yeah, our studio, we have an office and studio, and it's
that's
it's in Harlem. It's on 116th Street. Yeah, that's where we do a lot of productions here as well. Yeah.
I see. So, make sure listeners to check out Sandra Spannan. I've been destroying her name for the last 30 minutes. I hope she'll, forgive me. But she does her company, and I understand her company is all female, so the ladies are holding it down as pros and professional, doing incredible work. We'll be posting something in a second so that you can visually see some of her work and link back to the website. I think there might be a video there or two. Do you have any videos on your website, Sandra?
Yes, there's a video.
Okay, good.
Yeah, somebody made a small documentary about gilding and my work. Mm-hmm. It's pretty nice to meet you.
Sandra, thank you for being on the show. It's been a
pleasure.
Thank
you so much, Danny. That was fun.
Look forward to talking to you. Have a great fall in those upcoming workshops. Bye-bye.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Bye. So, folks, that was a great conversation with Sandra Spannan, and she's from See.Gold. See.Gold. Incredible company since 1994 doing old world gilding, gilded glass signage and house numbers and the like. check them out. Do business with them. Great company, great work. Talk to you soon, of course. Bye-bye.
Meet Davis.
Hi.
Davis is from Pollock, South Dakota.
Yep.
We took Davis from Pollock to fish for Pollock in Alaska.
Sure did.
The same wild-caught pollock in a McDonald's Filet-O-Fish sandwich.
Uh-huh.
There were boats, nets, waves.
And fish.
And some delicious Filet-O-Fish sandwiches. So you could say Davis is one lucky guy.
Good one.
Thanks, Davis.
Catch some pollock of your own with McDonald's Filet-O-Fish Fridays. Just $1.99 for a limited time. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or any combo meal.
Meet Davis.
Hi.
Davis is from Pollock, South Dakota.
Yep.
We took Davis from Pollock to fish for Pollock in Alaska.
Sure did.
The same wild-caught pollock in a McDonald's Filet-O-Fish sandwich.
Uh-huh.
There were boats, nets, waves.
And fish.
And some delicious Filet-O-Fish sandwiches. So you could say Davis is one lucky guy.
Good one.
Thanks, Davis.
Catch some pollock of your own with McDonald's Filet-O-Fish Fridays. Just $1.99 for a limited time. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or any combo meal.